What's up, y'all? It's Kamikaze MMA coming back for another video. JDM, mate. He's the fucking champ, mate. I don't know what to say, brother, but I'm fucking hyped, brother. Alright. JDM is my GOAT, brother. Let's go. JDM fucking annihilated Belal Muhammad for 5 rounds. And I'm ecstatic. I just made this video 37 minutes and it didn't record. So we're remaking it again. I don't know why this keeps happening, but if it keeps persisting, we're going to have some issues, okay? Okay, kid? Manon Fiorot. Yeah. Manon Fiorot. Crazy last name. I discovered this in the last round when I was, saying it how they pronounced it. Crazy last name. Jose Aldo quitted on himself. Saddest thing I've ever watched in real time. Natalia Silva dominates. We're going to talk about it. I don't think it was that boring, personally. And it's not just because she's hot. Benoit Saint Denis dominates, obviously. So let's just start from the beginning. Bekzat Almakhan annihilates Brad Katona in under 2 minutes, under a minute and a half, under a minute and 5 seconds. He knocks him out in a minute and 4 seconds. Could have been a walk-off KO, honestly. It was a pretty bad knockdown. Brad Katona might have gotten up, but that the first shot on the ground, the hammer fist, just put him out cold. So, Bekzat won. And he's probably going to be top 15 ranked in his next fight. Maybe, like, not in his next fight, but he's going to fight a top 15 contender in his next fight, I think. Moving up, not much else to say about that. I mean, he knocked down Umar in the first, so this dude's striking is good. And his grappling looks kind of like it. I mean, we didn't get to see anything, so I'm not going to say that. Daniel Santos versus Li Zhongyang. This fight was fun until Ian Gary started cucking the corner and just being like, you gotta go for takedowns. You can't let them, you can't strike with them. This is too fun and the fans don't want to see fun. They want us to go to sleep. It kind of sounds like Harry Potter. At least the way I was doing it, he kind of sounds like Harry Potter. And listen, I don't fucking know. I can only do it like this. But it sounds more like Harry Potter. That one sounded... I was thinking of Harry Potter when I said that, so that one sounded a little more like Harry Potter. But anyways, Daniel Santos out-clinches him. Real good performance, out-clinching him. It was a really fun fight, and then they were like, you know what? They also didn't give Li Zhongyang the fucking knockdown which he got, but who really cares? It's whatever. Li Zhongyang is okay, but he's not great. Daniel Santos looked much better at featherweight, to be real. So, yeah, not much else to say about that besides Ian Gary making another fight boring. And this is making me never going to pick Charles again because I don't want boring fighters to win. And I feel like Oliveira has become boring, but due to Ian Gary's cuckiness. You know, we're not seeing the edits of him with like 15 women anymore. You know, I haven't seen an edit with him with a woman in forever. So, Ian Gary's a bad influence, dude. You know, those kids' eyes are way too dark to be his. Shout out JDM. Marc-Andre Barriault commits murder in the octagon, killing Bruno Silva. First death ever recorded in the UFC. Bruno Silva dies. He died. Worst KO I've ever seen in real life. He died. He's dead. He's passed on. He's in a different world. And that's sad. It was sad to see that from Bruno Silva. So, yeah, it was a sad day. Sad day for Bruno Silva. I don't know what else to say. He was carried out in a stretcher. He said his neck and his head hurt. Obviously, that was... I mean, the KO didn't even look crazy. It looked like the Tai Tuivasa KO over Derek Lewis. It didn't even look that crazy, but it was bad. He didn't wake up for like 15... The next fight didn't start for like 15 minutes. He probably didn't wake up for the first 5 minutes after the KO. It was bad. Navajo Sterling has the worst body language win I've ever seen. It looked like he was losing every round on body language. He won every round, but it looked like he was losing every round. Like, if you just looked up, you would be like, yeah, this dude's losing the fucking round. He was, like, backing up like this, like he didn't know what was going on. So, yeah. Navajo Sterling gets body language merchant by Ivan Erslan, and then he knocks him down in the third round, which they only gave him one knockdown, but he had two, if I'm not mistaken, or three, but whatever. Ivan Erslan gets knocked down so bad, like back of the headshot, like Neil Magny just, and then it was kind of the coolest thing I've ever seen in MMA, to be honest. I'm a little upset, so I'm not as excited about it as I was in the first video, because the first video didn't record. But it was kind of the coolest thing I've seen in MMA. He got knocked down. It looked like he was out cold. And then he looked over, and he saw a hammer fist coming, and he just pulled back and completely dodged it. It was pretty cool. I don't think he did it on purpose, in actuality. But in the slow-mo, it looked like he really was trying to dodge it, not just trying to move. But yeah, that was pretty cool. Modestas Bukauskas kind of robs Ion Cutelaba. I think Ion won that fight, but I don't think it was a complete robbery. I think it was a robbery, but it wasn't the worst robbery I've ever seen by far. So, yeah, I mean, not much to say about it. Neither of them looked great, but it was a fun fight, and I think Modestas got a knockdown in this fight, but it says that he didn't. But I really think he did. So, that's weird. But whatever. Modestas Bukauskas wins 30-27, which he didn't win 30-27, but there was a scorecard for Young Cutelaba 30-27, which I thought was crazy too. So, yeah. Weird judging on that for sure, but he gets the win. Jasmine Jasudavicius is vicious. She gets a vicious submission, bro. A vicious submission. That's a tongue twister right there. Takes Jessica Andrade down. Like I said, Jessica Andrade couldn't do anything in this fight. Completely helpless on the feet and on the ground. Just kidding. I don't even remember the on the feet, but I think she was pretty much helpless on the feet and couldn't touch her, if I'm not mistaken. Jasmine Jasudavicius just mauls her on the ground and easily submits her. 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Wish those numbers were switched, but it is what it is, you know. She got it done quicker, so that's good to see. I think this is the only person that contends with Natalia Silva. I'll get there. But Mike Malott versus Charles Radke. She's not in the rankings, is she? Okay, she's number 9. She's number 9 in the rankings, but I don't think they're going to make that fight next. They'll probably do the championship fight next. Either way, Mike Malott brutalizes Charles Radke, easily defeats him. I had to eat my words. Oh, it was round 2. That makes a lot more sense. I don't know why I thought it was the first round, like late in the first round. And I was a little confused that I thought it said round 2 or round 1, 26 seconds, and I was like, I just don't think that happened. So yeah, Mike Malott just kind of at range, poking him, and then just puts the gas on and knocks him out easily in the second round. I mean, the first round was kind of slow and boring, but the second round just puts it on and easily knocks him out. So that was pretty cool. So very much more satisfying than the Bruno Silva KO, because it was like clearly a knockout, and the ground and pound follow-up was also pretty nice, but the ground and pound follow-up for Marc-Andre was just unnecessary. The one for Charles Radke was a little necessary, so it was a little bit nicer of a KO. Benoit Saint Denis easily finishes Kyle Prepolek, obviously. This dude fought twice in the UFC, lost twice in the UFC in 2019, and they just booked him to fight someone who we thought was a dangerous contender, who still might be a dangerous contender. Maybe not, because he couldn't finish this dude in the first round, okay? He couldn't finish fucking Kyle Prepolek in the first round, who went to decision with Nordine Taleb and Austin Hubbard and lost to both of them. He couldn't finish him in the first round. Good job finishing him in the second, dude. He hasn't been in the UFC since 2019, and he hasn't won a fight. But good job, I guess. Not much to say about it. they basically got a random dude from the crowd and was like, Benoit, fight this dude. And Benoit didn't want to strike with him for the first round and then hurts him in the second and gets the submission win. Arm triangle. Nice arm triangle, but it just wasn't anything to, like, be like, oh, this dude's back. He's back. I mean, he might be back, but that's just because of the momentum, not because that was a fucking good win or anything. Anyways, Alexa Grasso versus Natalia Silva. I think this was a pretty fun fight. I think this is an underrated fight. Just because Natalia Silva was on the back foot doesn't mean it was boring. She was piecing up Alexa Grasso on the back foot and might have had the best counters I've seen this year at least from the back foot. Those counters off the back foot were fucking incredible. Incredible. Some of the best kickboxing, like pure just point kickboxing I've seen in a while. And she was piecing her up too. She was hitting her with good hard shots. The strike differentials are only 20, which I would not have thought they were. I would have thought they were like 40 or so. It seemed like Natalia Silva landed a lot more clean at least. But it's whatever. Alexa Grasso gets easily defeated. I don't think anyone beats Natalia Silva in the rankings besides, well, obviously in the rankings, besides maybe Jasmine Jasudavicius. Honestly. This is the only person I see winning, and they're not going to fight each other next, and I don't think Jasmine is young enough to beat Natalia Silva when she's going to fight her. So I think Natalia Silva gets the belt and then reigns at flyweight for the next 4 years or so, at least. Possibly more, honestly. We'll see. We'll have to see. She has 5 losses. She's 19-5 with 1 draw, which isn't great for a 28-year-old, but it's not terrible. I mean, Alexa Grasso only is 16-5, and she's like 33, if I'm not mistaken. She's 31, so it's not that. I thought she was 33, but that's fine. Okay. I wish I could just stay on this fight, but I can't. We got to talk about this. Jose Aldo. Saddest fight I've ever seen in my life. Jose Aldo quits in the last 3 minutes of the fight. He could have possibly been winning every round. I get it if you want to give the second round to Amen, but the first round was definitely Jose Aldo's. The second round was super close. The third round was honestly super close too, but they gave it to Zahabi. So third round gets underway. And Jose Aldo is out there. Well, first off, Jose Aldo's game plan was terrible. It was, let me not throw to finish in the first round when I knock him down. Let me throw to finish in the second and third round when my cardio is bad. So he hurts Ayman Zahabi in the third round pretty early, like probably less than a minute in, I think. Like probably 30, 45 seconds in. Hurts him with a shot. Starts piecing him up. Maybe it was a minute in the round. Maybe it was a minute and a half, honestly. Starts piecing him up for about 30, 40, 50s, maybe a minute. Starts piecing him up for a while. Brutal soccer kick. Could have been the coolest finish in UFC history if that put Ayman Zahabi out. Brutal soccer kick. Okay? Somehow Zahabi survives, right? Left hand. Knee. Flying knee. To someone who just got soccer kicked. Ayman Zahabi doesn't even get knocked down from the knee. And then Jose Aldo's like, oh, I guess I can't finish him. How much is left? 3 minutes? And then he looks up at the clock, and he looks at Zahabi, and he's like, oh, I just fucking lost this fight, dude. I just lost this fight. Oh, no. And Zahabi takes him down and elbows the fuck out of him for... He was on the ground elbowing him for probably 2.5, 3 minutes. He was legitimately his elbow was on his head for probably a minute and a half. Like, he was probably getting elbowed for a minute and a half full time. It was pretty brutal to watch. I thought Jose Aldo was going to go out cold from those elbows. Was defending terribly until Ayman Zahabi just decided to quit elbowing him and give up the fight. Very bizarre. Very, very, very bizarre. Very bizarre fight. Jose Aldo quit on himself. Saddest thing I've ever watched in the octagon. True Lionheart performance on here. Real Lionheart. Well, actually, Lionheart doesn't hurt people before he quits. He just quits. So at least Jose Aldo hurt him, right? Really sad performance, to be honest. I'm glad Jose Aldo won't remember this. That's the only positive I can really take away from this, and that's a huge negative. Moving up. Ayman Zahabi, let's just say this, get this out of the way. Ayman Zahabi was there to fight. He barely held Jose Aldo up against the cage. He didn't shoot a takedown. Jose Aldo shot one. He didn't shoot a takedown. He didn't try to hold him up against the cage. He was there to fight with Aldo. So let's give Ayman Zahabi some credit for that, to be honest. Got soccer kicked and kneed in the matter of 20 seconds. Was still there standing and banging with him for a second. And then he took him down. And then he just dominated him on the ground. So, but still, he was in there trying to fight. He was there trying to elbow him until the last couple of minutes or seconds. So yeah. That was sad, but honestly, we need to give Zahabi some credit because that was honestly a really good performance. Now that I've kind of sat here and thought about it a little more, in the moment I was kind of pissed, so I'm kind of glad I actually got to rephrase this video because I was kind of pissed at Jose Aldo, but no, I'm not. That was actually a pretty good performance by Zahabi. Jose Aldo did quit on himself though, so it just kind of sucks. Valentina Shevchenko versus Manon Fiorot. So Valentina Shevchenko brutalizes Manon Fiorot. Loses again. Got tricked again. Just got fool me once, can't fool me again. That's what I was trying to say, not tricked. Because they're pretty close, right? Manon Fiorot looked terrible. Valentina Shevchenko looked okay. I don't know how. I think she clearly won the second and the third. Not clearly, but it was very close, but I think she clearly won. I don't know how you could give this fight to Fiorot. I thought they were going to give it to Fiorot, to be honest, but thank God they didn't. Valentina Shevchenko easily outdamaged her. Really good performance by Valentina, honestly. And the fact that I don't think she's going to win against Natalia Silva, but the fact that she didn't let a clincher win, a clinch merchant, besides Merab. Merab's the only clinch merchant that can win. A lot of these fights were kind of clinchy, and that was sad. But Merab does it fun, because I think we should make a Merab rule where you can't clinch against the fence unless you're taunting your opponent and being like, you can't touch me, dude. You can't, listen, I go, one more thing. As long as you do that against the fence, I'm fine with it. But really, there was a lot of clinching, and it was not fun. Ayman Zahabi was the one dude that could have clinched and easily got a win, and decided to get soccer kicked in the face for our entertainment. So thank you, Ayman Zahabi. I'm actually pretty happy with his performance. I don't think he's going to beat a top featherweight or bantamweight, but great performance, moving up a weight class technically, so that was fun. While cutting to bantamweight too. That was pretty impressive, actually. Valentina Shevchenko is not going to beat Natalia Silva, and she's going to retire after that because she's going to get handed with pretty easily, I think. She looked a little slower in this fight. She should have finished Fiorot in the second round, but she couldn't. So she just gave up the second and the third round. She was just like, I don't want to fight anymore. And then she was like, actually, I do want to fight. And then she fought. And she kind of, did her shit. She kind of did her thing. She did her thing, you know what I'm saying? Manon Fiorot just quits. No, she doesn't. Actually, she doesn't quit. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking. I was talking about Jose Aldo still. Manon Fiorot just gets beat because she's not as good as Valentina Shevchenko, which was very clear. But Shevchenko almost gave up the fight in the second and the third round. The fifth round was pretty close too, but the fourth and the first were the most dominant rounds, and they were both Valentina's round. Let's talk about it. JDM broke Bilal Muhammad's nose and beat his ass for 5 rounds. I could see that being a 4-1 JDM. I don't know what 2 rounds you could give Bilal. Maybe the third. maybe the fourth, but I don't think you could get both of those to Bilal. I think one of them was a little bit better, but I think JDM, he's handily won every round. Every round, handily won. Bilal Muhammad did not look... honestly, this was kind of Bilal's best performance, and that makes me think JDM is going to easily beat Islam. Am I crazy? I think that was Bilal Muhammad's one of his best performances, and JDM is now going to just maul Islam. Bilal's striking looked okay. There was times where he's striking like a WMMA fighter. He's out here like Manon Fiorot, just like... like Alexa Grasso. I don't know how JDM didn't finish him at certain points in this fight, to be honest. I mean, JDM... literally, there was... I think it was the second round. Yeah, I think it was the second. It could have been the first. JDM was just going like this. For like the whole round. And Bilal Muhammad didn't dodge a single one of the punches. He actually did start to kind of figure out the punches that Bilal was throwing, that JDM was throwing, but JDM had way better head movement. The fight was not close whatsoever. There in no way Bilal Muhammad won that fight. No way Bilal Muhammad won 2 rounds, to be honest with you. I think that's kind of crazy. I think you might be able to give him the third or the fourth. It was one of those two where it was like, it was one of those two that it was kind of close, I think. But I think JDM won every round. He just looked like the better person, the better fighter out there. Even, honestly, kind of in the grappling, too. It was no, he didn't look like the better fighter in the grappling. In the first couple of rounds, it kind of did, but once the later rounds came, he didn't have the grappling to keep up with Bilal. But he had the grappling to get out of the position, so not bad at all. It was a very satisfying fight, in my opinion. I kind of wish he would have gotten a finish in that fifth, because he literally didn't put any weight on his shots until the 5th round. He kind of looked like a prime Nick Diaz, just better because he's in this generation. Obviously, not saying Nick Diaz is bad, but we're kind of getting to see a prime Nick Diaz play out in this generation. And so I think we should appreciate that. I really think he could beat Islam. I really do. I think it's pretty close. I think he could KO Islam. I think if he sits down on his shots in the first 2 rounds, I think he KOs a lot of these guys at welterweight. I think he's almost too patient, to be honest with you. In my last video, I was saying, yeah, especially with his new patience, he just finds his shots. Maybe it's not new patience, but it's like he looked really, really well patient. Like, he usually looks patient, but this fight he looked like patient, composed, and accurate, like with what he wanted to do, not just patient and composed. Because usually he's patient and composed, but the fight doesn't really go his way. I mean, it kind of does, but it doesn't, like, to the level of me being like, oh yeah, this dude's clearly winning this fight, you know? It's usually like, oh, this dude might be winning, or he might be barely getting outpointed. But this fight, it was just clear that he was winning every single round. But I think if he sat down in the first 2 rounds, I think he would have put Bilal out in the first 2. He was brutalizing Bilal. Did they even give him a knockdown? They didn't give him a knockdown. I think he had like 3 knockdowns or 2 knockdowns. I mean, it was pretty brutal, to be honest. He was piecing up Bilal Muhammad. He broke the fuck out of his nose, which is kind of ironic, right? I thought he was going to get a finish in the 5th round. I mean, I think Ayman Zahabi should have been able to get a finish in the 5th round, or the 3rd round too, but I guess not. Yeah, I mean, JDM's the world champ. This is a crazy reality we're living in, to be honest. Very cool. JDM's my goat. JDM's my goat. I love him. I love you, JDM. But yeah, that's basically it. I think he easily beats Ian Carey. I think Carlos Prates beats him, though. I don't think I brought this up in my last video because I know I'm going to get some flack for it. I think Carlos Prates knocks this dude out. I'm going to be real with you. I think Carlos Prates, I mean, he was kind of getting rocked by Bilal at some points in this fight. All right? Ian Gary stands zero chance. Zero chance. I'm giving him a 0% chance to beat JDM. He had probably a 10% chance to beat Carlos Prates, and I was kind of right about that. Carlos Prates looked terrible in that fight. Ian Gary barely won that fight. And he almost got finished in the 5th. JDM kind of got rocked in this fight. And he was facing Bilal Muhammad, who has hands like Canelo. I get it. Jack Della Maddalena must have hands like Terence Crawford. But in all actuality, I think Ian Gary gets mauled by JDM. And I think Carlos Prates knocks him out. I'm going to be real with you. I really do. I don't know who Carlos Prates is going to fight next. Hold on, let me go to the rankings real quick. Maybe a Shavkat, maybe a Sean Brady. Damn, he's so far down. He's number 13. Did they make the Stephen Thompson fight with him? Let me see. Okay, his next opponent hasn't been announced. I mean, he could fight a Michael Morales, but I don't want to see that. Fuck, dude. How the fuck is Joaquin Buckley number 7? That's crazy. JDM's number 5. That's funny. I think you gotta give... Sean Brady's next in line. What are we talking about with Ian Gary? What the fuck is Ian Gary talking about? This dude is not next in line. That's fucking bizarre. Ian Gary is not the next dude in line. Sean Brady's 100%. Shavkat could be. Shavkat just beat you, dude. What are you talking about? Yeah, I'm next in line. Oh, fuck it. Did I forget to talk about that? No, Daniel Santos fight about him making it cucky and boring. From the cut corner, of course, he was going, no, shoot a takedown. No, this is too fun. No. You're going to outshine me, and I don't want that to happen. The only place I shine is by making boring decisions. I think we do Ian Gary versus Leon Edwards next. And then we do... Dude, why is he so far down the rankings? He almost finished Ian Gary. What the fuck is this? And then I guess we do a Carlos Prates versus Colby Covington. Or Gilbert Burns, which would kill him. We could do, honestly, a Shavkat versus Carlos Prates. I'd be interested in that. 5 rounds. But... they're not going to do that. They're probably going to make them against Michael Morales, Stephen Thompson, or rebook the Jeff Neal fight. So we'll just have to see, I guess. But yeah, I guess that's going to be it for me. It was a super fun card, to be honest, besides the 7 decisions. And the JDM and Natalia Silva decision weren't bad, in my opinion. The Valentina Shevchenko, the Furher decision was pretty bad, just because Furher made it boring. Should have stuck with art, dude. Should have stuck with art, alright? But that's about it for it. I can't believe her last name is Manon Fiorot. That's fucking wild. But yeah, we're banging the new song. New summer song. Banging it all summer. You know, in the grocery store, just singing along. So, yeah, peace out, y'all. I don't know what else to say. JDM's the world champion. We're living in a great universe. If they don't make Ilia Topuria, I think Sean Brady mauls him too, to be honest. I think JDM has no chance against Sean Brady. Yeah, that's just my humble opinion. Not no chance. I think he actually has a 50-50 chance against Sean Brady. I just think, I kind of think Sean Brady submits him in the first. There's one more thing I was about to say. I think they should do Sean Brady JDM next, and they should do Islam versus Ilya, and then they should do Leon versus Gary. I think those are the three matches that should come from this. So, yeah, peace, y'all. Good card. What can I say? JDM's my goat, mate. Peace.